All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. So, the Kansas City Chiefs find themselves caught up in the financial crunch that is the NFL salary cap. And as the Chiefs have been crunching some numbers, which has led to their front office having to make key decisions on some of their star players, they now have themselves a giant hole in their secondary. And the reason why, of course, we know what happened today. Kansas City traded arguably their best defensive back and cornerback, Trent McDuffie, to the Los Angeles Rams. And McDuffie was a first round pick by the Chiefs back in 2022. And he's set to enter the final year of his rookie deal where he was slated to make more than $13 million. Now, of course, this gets the Chiefs under the salary cap. And that's basically it. They were trying to get out of salary cap purgatory. And in doing so, they decided to ship McDuffie out of town. Now, in trading McDuffie to the Rams, the Chiefs are getting the Rams' first round pick for next month in the draft, which is 29th overall, as well as their fifth and sixth this year, along with their third for next year. So Kansas City is now going to have three of the top 40 picks in next month's NFL draft, as they already did, but now after this trade, even more. They've got some holes to fill on both sides of the football. Now, aside from trading McDuffie, the Chiefs are also releasing starting offensive tackle Juwan Taylor and defensive end Mike Dana, and they might not be done here, okay? But nonetheless, they got some big holes to fill in the draft on this team, okay? Um, Kansas City has needs on the offensive line. Like I said the other day, you've already got Patrick Mahomes coming back after that ACL injury. Protecting him up front is a top priority, or needs to be a top priority. You have a hole at running back. Okay, again, Kareem Hunt led this team in rushing last year with just 611 yards. You have a need at wide receiver. Okay, no 1,000-yard wide receiver last year. Definitely need a pass rusher. No player on the Chiefs was able to reach double digits in sacks. Chris Jones, the defensive tackle, led this team in sacks with just 7. You need a safety. You already needed a safety, and now you need yourself a corner. So if you're Kansas City, you've got to try to find a way to fill some of these holes in this draft. Easier said than done, but you got to try to do it. And it's all about trying to keep up with the Joneses in this division. Like I said, um, the Chiefs took advantage, if you will, of Patrick Mahomes for several years, in my opinion, because they just figured, you know what, Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Chris Jones are so good, they'll just bail us out. And okay, that worked for some time. It truly did. But now you've got to try to keep up with the Joneses in this division, because this Denver Broncos team, under the guidance of head coach Sean Payton, they're not slowing down anytime soon. And I expect the Broncos to try to go out there and get even better this offseason as they're looking to get over that hump and get to the Super Bowl. Okay. Also, trying to keep up with the other potential playoff teams around the AFC West. And with all of that said, or pardon me, the AFC as a whole, has the Chiefs' title window closed with Patrick Mahomes? And I'm going to say no. But Patrick Mahomes cannot do it by himself, as great as he is. Kansas City, like I said, they've been asleep at the wheel for quite some time, or several years rather, as far as putting talent around Mahomes. And now, guess what? You're going to have to do that. He already restructured his deal. You've got to go out there and find yourself some playmakers on both sides of the football if you are going to keep up in this division now. On the flip side of this, for the Rams, they felt like they had a need in their secondary, and acquiring McDuffie gives them the best opportunity to fill that void. Now, make no mistake about it, Rams general manager Les Snead continues to make the late George Allen proud. Why? Because he continues to trade first round picks. From 2017 to 2023, the Los Angeles Rams did not pick in round one once. Okay. The Rams still have a first round pick. Don't get me wrong. They're going to be picking 13th, and that is courtesy of the Atlanta Falcons trade last year. And of course, the Falcons went on to draft James Pierce. But nonetheless, if you're the Rams, you still have an opportunity to go out there and find yourself a stud in round number one. But nonetheless, getting back to Trent McDuffie, the Rams are definitely going to turn around and sign McDuffie to the long-term extension now, because you're not going to give up as much draft capital as we saw the Rams part with today just to have a guy for a short-term rental in the National Football League. It simply does not work that way. You look at the Rams, and they feel like they've got to find a way to get past the Seattle Seahawks to get to the Super Bowl. These two division rivals met 3 times this past season. Seattle got the best of Los Angeles twice, of course, in the playoffs and the NFC Championship game. All three were close games. All 3 times the home team won. But getting back to the Rams and the Seahawks, especially in the Rams secondary, they're going to have to find a way to slow down Seahawks wide receiver Jackson Smith and Jingba. In 3 games this past season against Los Angeles, Smith and Jingba had 27 catches for 354 yards and a pair of touchdowns. That has got to stop if the Rams are going to get past the Seahawks. The Rams are clearly showing that they are preparing to go all in for 2026. And if you're the Rams, you've been very close in the last couple of years. Why? Because each of the last 2 years in the postseason, you have now lost to the eventual Super Bowl champion. The year before, it was the Philadelphia Eagles in round 2. This past January, it was Seattle in the NFC Championship game. And if you're the Rams, you keep chipping away, and you know that you're not going to get too many more opportunities with a veteran quarterback like Matt Stafford. So I really think they're going to be all in this year. So another question for me: did the Rams give up too much to get McDuffie? I feel that they did. Okay, in my opinion, I thought a 1 might have been enough, but the fact that they came back and gave up a 5 and a 6, as well as a third rounder for next year, this deal better work if you're the Rams, because again, that is a plethora of draft capital that you just parted with. Like I said, they still have 13th overall. Okay, so you've got an opportunity to go out there and find yourself another impact player, maybe another defensive end, maybe some more beef on that defensive line, because again, Sam Darnold can't beat you if he's under duress. Okay, and now you just filled a big hole in your secondary by going out there and picking up Trent McDuffie from Kansas City. I think now, because I talked about this recently, I think clearly that this trade that went down today will eliminate the Rams from the Ty Simpson discussion. I talked about the possibility of maybe the Rams taking Ty Simpson 29th overall and grooming him to be the heir apparent to Matt Stafford. That is clearly not going to be the case. The Rams are not going to take Ty Simpson at number 13. They're going to go out there and find more pieces to try to upgrade things, like I said, in order to get past this, Seattle and get to the Super Bowl. And remember, Super Bowl next February is going to be at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood. And of course, the last time that the Super Bowl was there, it was the Rams who took home the Lombardi Trophy. So at the end of the day, you ask yourself who won this trade. Well, for today at least, I'm going to say the Rams, because the Rams got their guy. They're hopeful that he is going to help them take that next step in 2026. Things could change, but again, like I said, Kansas City's got to go out there and they've got to find impact players. And now you're going to ask more rookies to come in and try to learn on the fly and get up to things with Patrick Mahomes, because guess what? A guy like Mahomes, he's coming back next season. He's going to want to win again, okay? He's been there 3 times as far as winning the Super Bowl, been there 5 times overall. He wants to get back. But like I said, Kansas City's got a lot of holes that they have to fill on both sides of the football. It's not going to be easy, but at the same time, it's not impossible. For the Rams, I think they're not done here. I'm not saying they're going to go out there and make another blockbuster trade, perhaps, but they're going to go out there and try to find themselves more pieces. Again, we're seeing more veterans around the league being released as teams are looking to get under the salary cap by the start of the new league year. Maybe the Rams can go out there and find some vets on the cheap that are willing to take a pay cut in order to go out there and make a run at the Super Bowl championship. Remember, the Rams basically did that in 2021 when they loaded up deferred money. Some guys took less money, and at the end of the day, they were able to capture the Lombardi Trophy. So maybe that happens again. If you're the Chiefs, you definitely don't want to use the word rebuild, but you can use retool all you want. But like I said, they've got to go out there and figure this out because you don't want to get lost in the shuffle in this division. The Broncos have already passed you. The Chargers have already passed you as well, at least for the division. You look at the AFC picture as a whole. Of course, Buffalo, they're in transition right now. New England looks like they're still, or they're going to be the team to beat in the AFC East. AFC North, a lot of changes going on with Pittsburgh and Baltimore. What's going to happen with Cincinnati? Are they going to finally be healthy? And then the AFC South with the likes of Jacksonville, Tennessee, Indianapolis, and Houston. So nonetheless, this is an important time for Kansas City. Like I said, you're getting number 15 back, but you have to protect him up front on the O-line. You also have to put the playmakers around him on the offensive side of the ball. And Kansas City also needs playmakers defensively, okay? And it caught up to them this past season. So at the end of the day, it's a homecoming for Trent McDuffie. He's a Southern California kid. Now he gets to play in front of his family and friends more consistently, aside from just coming to SoFi once a year when the Chiefs would play the Chargers. Now you've got an opportunity to be there 7 or 8 times a year, depending on how things go in the regular season, and then, of course, the postseason as well. But nonetheless, somewhat of a shocker. At the end of the day, like I said, the Chiefs found themselves in salary cap purgatory, but at the same time, they've got draft capital, and at the end of the day, draft capital only means something if you know what you're doing with it. So let's see if the Chiefs can put these picks to good use come next month at the draft. But folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank each and every one of you for checking out the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. And as always, if you like what you heard and saw in this podcast, you know what to do. Just hit that like button as well as subscribing to this channel. And like I always say, it's greatly appreciated. Also, if you are on the X, formerly known as Twitter, you can check me out anytime at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you give me that follow, it'll be my pleasure to do the same in return. And that also goes for Instagram, where you can check me out at 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge. Also, if you're on Facebook, definitely be sure to check out the Sports Depot 365. And as far as I'm concerned, one of the better sports groups going on social media. But until next time, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I'm signing off, and I'm saying thanks once again for checking out the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Be well, everybody.